One. Yes, yes, yes. Back at the Life of an Average Joe podcast. Brandon Rivera joined with Nick Luck. And it is what we do best, a late night podcast for me. Even though it's not late, but when you're 46, everything is late. So it's definitely late for me. But we've got a lot to talk about. Not only do we have the 4th of July just around the corner, which is crazy to me, we are in what I think is typically the biggest, month for movies. And I got to be honest with you, from the post, like the last week of June going into the 4th of July, guys, we've got a big one, a big month. And we've had some serious movies. Nick and I, before the show, were talking about the new Jurassic Park. Obviously, we've got a bunch of other stuff. We got 28 Years Later that came out. We've got so many different cool things. Nick and I have talked about Fantastic Four and what we want for that movie as it comes out at the end of the month. Well, now it's time to flip over and go to the rebirth, of the DC, whatever they're calling it. I don't even know what are they calling it this time around?
Huh. I don't think they actually gave it a new name. I guess it's just the new DC EU now. I kind of want to call it the Gunverse.
the DGEU. Let's ask, what is James Gunn calling the D? We'll look that up.
Yeah.
Calling the DC. So it is a rebirth. It is a rebirth. It is for like a reboot, rehashing for like the 7th or 3rd time. James Gunn is currently referring to the new DC universe as the DCU.
Oh, well, I kept it simple. Okay. It's understandable, I guess.
Great. Well, thanks for that, James Gunn. Real riveting. But you don't really need anything like that, But anyway, so this is a big deal, and although technically speaking, James Gunn has already started his universe with Peacemaker, even though he wasn't in charge of DC at the time. We've already got season 1 of Peacemaker. We now saw a season 2 teaser for Peacemaker, which debuts in August. Thank God. I know, I'm so excited. We also got the animated season 1 of Creature Commandos on Max, yes, which I absolutely loved. Essentially, it is a dark Suicide Squad, of I don't want to say extraterrestrial, but exactly what it is: creatures, Frankenstein monsters, literally, vampires and mystical beings, things that didn't quite fit into Suicide Squad, but they are very connected with some of the same key players like Flag of the Suicide Squad. So he's kind of already started it, but this in particular, this Superman, is the big deal. Because Superman, and we can talk about Batman all we want, but Superman is the pillar behind DC. He always has. Yeah, he is the OG behind DC. And Superman, quite frankly, has, God, much like Batman, we have seen so many different movies, so many different TV shows, so many different versions and reboots. I mean, let's think about it here. Let's just go back. You have the Superman from the 30s, right?
Mm-hmm.
With Reeves, not Christopher Reeves, other Reeves. I forgot his name. So you have
I forgot about the other Reeves.
Yeah, you have that. You have the comics. You have the big films with Christopher Reeves. Now, he did 4. Superman 2, Superman 3, The Quest for Peace with Superman 4. Whatever we think of those movies, they were big. They served a purpose, Then, of course, you got to look at the TV shows. You had Smallville. You had Lois and Clark. You also had the very short-lived, what was it called? Krypton or something? And it kind of, you remember that? It kind of looked And then, of course, you brought back another Superman you had, and I forget what that was called. If it was just called Superman or whatever. Um, you had some
Wow.
cross mogination when he appeared in Supergirl, the TV show. And then you brought back another with Brandon Roth. You brought back Superman for one movie. Then you got rid of that and said, no, 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 no. We're gonna get somebody else, and we're gonna do the Man of Steel. Okay, with the man, the Cavill. Okay, and you did Man of Steel, and then you rushed it and did Batman versus Superman, which we didn't need, and then you did Justice League, which we didn't need, and then everything kind of fell apart, and you said, you know what? Oh, and then he appeared in Black Adam for 2 seconds, and then the reset happened. So Superman has been around a lot. Whether we like all those or not, they've offered something. But Superman is the key. And James Gunn said that if he's going to restart the DCU, it's got to be pillared on Superman. So the biggest question was, what type of movie are we going to get? We don't need an origin story. I think if you don't know Superman's origin story, then just Google. We don't need one. We've seen it too many times, and they waste too many. I think he's handling that the right way by not doing an origin story. You can still talk about his origins without doing an origin story, you know. Um, but the question was who. Well, James Gunn pulled the plug and said he's restarting everything with Superman, and we've got all new characters. And now this movie, which comes out on the 11th, I will be there. Nick will be there. Um,
Yes. Probably. So
we,
excited.
I am too. We are looking at a very unique movie in the sense that Superman has been a hero for years in this film. I don't know the length of time, whether it's been 3, 4, 5, but I don't think it's like 20 years. I think it's like enough for Lex Luthor to find an interest, enough for other heroes to be introduced. So the world is aware of Superman and these other heroes. They may not know all of them, but this is a world where there's other heroes, which I think right away, that makes it really easier to explain all these people. You
Yeah.
don't
And it
have to.
stands out too.
Yeah. The movie's going to be pretty much centered in Metropolis, as we anticipated. But here's where things get interesting. The premise of the movie is Superman's trying to deal with his past, his Kryptonian past, while trying to understand truth, justice, the American way, trying to understand what this world is, trying to find his place in this world as new dangers, as new adversaries, and new problems come forward. Okay, Lex Luthor's a problem. We see that. Um, Superman's accompanied by Crypto. Not sure how I feel about it. I'll be honest. I think it's a really fun thing and different. We've never seen Crypto except for in the animated. We are also getting Hawk Girl, Green Lantern, and let me just
Yes.
and then I'm gonna volley this back over to you. But I want to kind of just give the audience a little background here as we look at excuse me, some of these characters that are literally gonna be in this movie. We know Superman, obviously, right? Superman's in this movie.
Oh
In
yeah.
case you didn't. Green Lantern, Lex Luthor, Hawk Girl. There's a rumor that Supergirl could make an appearance, and we might not know who Supergirl is in that this time. Don't forget that movie's being written and starting soon.
Mm.
Which, by the way, I think I'm more excited about Supergirl than Superman. I'm going on record. Um, we're going to get some Jor-El.
Yeah.
We're going to get a little Jor-El
Yeah.
action, um, which is interesting. We're going to get Metamorpho.
What about it?
We're going to get Mr. Terrific. We're going to
Yep.
get Maxwell Lord. They are going deep into some of these Superman characters. Mr. Terrific in the Superman movie, when I'm going to say that 85% of the population doesn't know who he is. That's
Yeah, they're gonna look
interesting.
at him like, "What's up with his face?"
Right. We all are. Um, what are your thoughts? Do you think it's a good idea to introduce all these characters? Now remember, James Gunn's not Snyderizing this and trying to make a Justice League, but he is trying to establish the universe without waiting 10, 15, 20 years. He's trying to show the world like these people exist. Accept it. It might be a lazy way to do it. It might be a cheap way to do it, but I think it works. Um, what do you think about all of these guys? Do you think it's too much characters to be in the movie when we are getting a brand new universe and a brand new Superman? Is it too much to have all these characters?
I think it has the potential to be risky, but fortunately with James Gunn, he knows what he's doing. He's proved in many different ways, from Guardians of the Galaxy, Creature Commandos, all these different superhero projects, that he knows how to juggle multiple characters and to make their stories intertwine. So it's actually, so it makes sense. So it's concrete. And I, even though I'm not super familiar with Mr. Terrific, like for instance, just to go on him real quick, I paused. That didn't sound right. With Mr. Terrific, I only know about him from the Justice League cartoons. So I'm not
Okay.
super familiar with him. But when I saw him in the trailer, I was like, that's Mr. Terrific. That's so awesome. And of course, Hawk Girl and Green Lantern, obviously recognize them. Guy Gardner, I was super glad to see him, um, because this is what, our first like live action Guy Gardner.
Yeah. As far as I know,
So
unless there's something on the WB show I missed, but
yeah,
which is
that's
possible. It's possible, guys. I'm not claiming to be an expert on the WB or any of these, like examples of these characters. But as far as movie goes, we haven't seen it yet. We haven't seen them.
yeah, and I think that was a really good pick too, because even though he which one? I think he's the third human Green Lantern. It
Yeah,
was,
yeah,
oh wait,
or
fourth if you
four.
count the OG.
Yeah,
If you count like the super OG Green Lantern, that was weak to the color yellow, like the literal color yellow and wood.
literally.
Um, so I think having him in there is really cool too, because even though I have a I love all the Green Lanterns, honestly. I think Guy is probably my third favorite, but I think putting him in this movie was the best pick out of the group of them, because of the personality Guy has, and the uh I guess just what he will add to it compared to what they would have gotten if we threw in Hal Jordan or
Sure,
John Stewart or anyone else like that. Because they're all great, but Guy Gardner is so different compared to them all. I think that it's good. I really love this idea of all these characters mashed together, because to conclude on this thought that I had, um, this is what I've been wanting to see for a while with these superhero movies, that we didn't get way back when with the earlier Superman movies, for instance. It always felt like, oh, is it just Superman? Is it just Supergirl that are out here? Are they the only ones with powers? Where are these other characters that are in the comics? And
sure.
now we're seeing that. So that's what I'm really excited about.
And I think it does kind of like establish the universe or the world that we're viewing pretty easily by going, yeah, well, obviously they're superheroes, like, and I think it's kind of a cool way to do it because if you look at it, every other movie, even on the Marvel side, I mean, let's go back to Marvel and like pre-Disney buying them when Iron Man came out, and then Edward Norton's Hulk came out, and the post-credit scene of Edward Norton's Hulk is Robert Downey Jr.
Oh.
One of the coolest, and like amazing, but they were acknowledging that there's things out there, beings, but they didn't really dive into it. So they played around with it, saying, yeah, okay, we know about you. But it wasn't until the events after Avengers 1 where people realized there are these gods and superheroes and villains out there. So this is kind of a cool way because we have not seen this. You know, we have not seen where, oh, there's a hero out there. What else is out there? They played with a little bit when they rushed Batman versus Superman because it was like, oh, well, here's a new Batman, by the way. Nobody even knows who he is, but here he is. And he's looking at Superman. He's upset about it. And oh, by the way, here's Wonder Woman just for the heck of it, even though nobody knows who she is. You know, stupid. But so I don't think that James Gunn is going to do that. I'm really hoping, and like you said, you brought up a good point. He's handled Guardians. He's handled Guardians of the Galaxy. He handled Suicide Squad. He's handled Creature Commandos. He's handled Peacemaker, which really has this unique ensemble of characters while still keeping the focus on the main story and the main character. I don't have a problem with that. I don't have a problem. A lot of people are like, well, James Gunn gets that wild humor. Yeah, he does. But look at the tone of Guardians 3. Bro, if you weren't sad or crying or some sort in your feels in that film, I don't know what to tell you, dude. Because we still very much had the feel of Guardians, but we very much peeled back the layer. That thing got deep, and that was all James Gunn. So I see some of the humor in the trailer, and mind you, I've only watched the teaser and one trailer. I have not watched the last. I'm completely on lockdown because I just want to experience the movie. But in what
Yep.
we've seen, I think we're going to get some serious tones. You know, there's been a lot of complaint as to the choice of Superman, why they picked this guy, and I'm like, could you guys maybe, I don't know, watch him first? I just a random idea. And
Thank
then
you.
there's some costume choices or outfit choices that I'm not sure if I like, even, to be honest with you, on the Superman outfit. There's a couple things there that I'm like, I don't know. But there was things on the Cavill outfit I wasn't 100% fan of either. So can we wait a minute? you know? And people are like, oh, why does Green Lantern look that way? Because he literally looks like they just pulled him from a comic book.
Yeah, it isn't always just the straight black and green outfits. They have, like every other superhero, they've had a number of different costumes over the years.
Dude, there has been costumes and attire and, symbol designs that have changed within the same run of comic books. The same artist has done this particular design, has changed it just a little in multiple comic issues of the same run. So why are we picking on that? But I digress. The movie's going to be, from what it looks like, is 2 hours and 9 minutes. Here's my question.
Mm.
Does that seem a little short to you?
For 2 hours, I think that's pretty good.
You think
Um,
so?
yeah, for that.
Mind you, I'm playing devil's
What?
advocate. This is
Oh,
the
gotcha,
first time
gotcha.
we're seeing this Superman, and we're seeing
Hmm.
all these superheroes. And I don't believe there's a post-credit scene
Mm.
because James Gunn doesn't want to do that and have it turn into nothing. But do you?
Ah, but he's the big cheese now. He can do whatever he wants.
But let's look at Marvel. Do I need to bring up some post-credit scenes that are going to go nowhere?
Oh
Because I
yeah,
will.
that's true.
Here we go. Let's go this one first. Thor: Love and Thunder post-credit scene with Hercules and Zeus.
Oh yeah.
Absolutely gonna go nowhere. Nowhere.
Oh man.
Let's look at the internals. An awesome post-credit scene with the Black Knight and Blade. Really? Do I have to talk about Blade? Bro, we ain't never seen it. Like, so I can keep going. So, I
That
mean,
is true.
I'm not saying that Marvel hasn't had some awesome ones that have worked, but I think it's a good idea for Gunn to stay clear of some of the post-credit scenes. Number one, it's different than Marvel. Number two, it doesn't lock him into something that maybe he might change his mind about later.
That's true, because a retcon can be so annoying to handle at times.
And then if you just ignore it, you're like, okay, so because that's what Marvel's doing. They're not retconning anything. They're just like, nah, we're not doing that.
Yeah.
So
And
I don't think that James Gunn will never do it, but I think he's going to let his movies cook for a while before he starts diving into a post credit scene. I think that 2 hours 9 minutes feels short to me. Maybe I'm wrong. I don't know.
how much more would you want for
Well, I don't need the Snyder cut. Okay, I don't need a
it?
12-day overinflated ego boost. I don't need that. Um,
You don't want a black and white version?
no, I didn't want a colored version. I wanted to be blind. Um, let's let's look at a big movie. Let's look at the Avengers. Let's look at the first Avengers. Let's see how long that is, because very similar. We know these characters, but it's the first time they're together. That movie was
Yeah.
2 hours and 23 minutes.
You can do a lot, honestly, in 23 minutes. So that
Bro,
is fair.
let's look at the Avengers Age of Ultron.
That's like a whole end scene. Like, they could do a whole lot.
2 hours, 21 minutes. Age of Ultron.
Mmm.
Do I need to go? And I think the other one was 3 hours. Avengers Infinity War, right?
Yeah, Infinity War and Endgame were like either at or pushing 3 hours. I think Endgame was for sure 3 hours. I think Infinity War might have been
Two and a half.
close.
2.5 hours for Infinity War. Endgame. 3 hours, 1 minute.
Woo-hoo.
Epic.
Oh
I'm not
yeah,
saying
my
you got to
bladder
do a
remembers
3 hour
that.
movie, but I'm looking at those movies and I'm looking about what they put in those movies.
Yeah,
I'm liking that 2 hour 20 minutes, man.
that's true. Especially for superhero movies, that's a good safe zone. Um,
Especially because I imagine there's a lot going on, and this is the first time that we're seeing this Superman on the screen. Let's look at
yeah.
Superman, Man of Steel. Let's see how long Man of Steel was. Probably 5 hours long. 2 hours 23 minutes. That's a sweet spot right there, man.
Wow. Yeah, there's definitely there's definitely a pattern.
So
Huh.
it doesn't mean it can't be done. It doesn't mean that it's going to be bad. I just think, and mind you, we haven't seen it yet. Um, I just think it feels a little short, but I don't know. We'll see. We'll see. What do you think? Here's my question. What do you think is going to be the end result of this Superman movie? Meaning, I don't think he's going to set up the Justice League because that would be following the same mistakes as his predecessor. Um,
Maybe the Justice Friends first.
yeah, maybe just friends. They're just friends. Um, there's no justice. There's just friends. Um, do you think that this movie's going to end as its own entity? Like, yes, here's a world, and yeah, these other guys might be going to do this or that, but the main story's done, and this movie's going to end. So that if you watch it, yes, could it lead into other stories in the universe? Maybe, sure. But you could watch it as its own, because one of the complaints that we've got from Marvel, as long as, even though people love the weaved in stories, and it's never been done before, but let's be honest, Marvel has kind of struggled with the weaved in stories as of late. They're looking to, people are like, I just want to watch that movie and enjoy that movie. I want to enjoy that one. Sure, it's in the same universe as these big problems and things going on, but it doesn't need to be connected. Do you think James Gunn is going to really set up some stuff, or just give it to us and let the unknowns kind of set up on their own?
I feel like it might be I kind of want it to be somewhere at least in the middle. I feel like he'd
Sure.
probably go somewhere there. I don't think it would be just a flat, here you go. I think he'll definitely establish a few things, especially since we have so many heroes coming together.
Yeah.
Because the way I'm thinking is there has to be some kind of connection bringing them all together like, I'm trying to think like what would even connect Green Lantern, Hawk Girl, and Mr. Terrific to Superman to begin with. Like what
And we
even
see them. We see Mr. Terrific interacting with Superman. I don't remember if we see Hawk Girl or Green Lantern interacting with Superman, but we definitely see them fighting some creature and Lex Luthor's minions. But we see Mr. Terrific directly interact with Superman.
yeah. So I think with
So
that in mind, it's definitely gonna I think they'll want to like talk about, hey, like if you ever need me, give me a call, type deal. But I don't think it'll be like, hey, let's be a team, a justice team, if you will, or a league, maybe. I don't think they'll do anything like that. But I think establishing just like, hey, let's keep in contact sometime. Let's go out for a drink. Establishing some camaraderie, and I think that's kind of what he is probably going for in this movie.
I'm also wondering if they are there to help him with his journey, because maybe they've been doing it longer. Maybe they've, maybe like he's battling those demons of like trying to be Clark with his girl, but she knows who he is, and now Lex knows who he is. How do you? I don't like. They're almost like mentors to him, while he's also trying to get the support to protect the country and the world that he loves. Um, or it could have something to do with Lex. It could have Lex could be, because let's not forget, there's the rumor that Lex is building his own Superman. What is that? Ultraman or
Mm.
whatever. He's building his own nemesis. Or
Ooh,
Superman Dark. You know,
I
uh,
forget.
not definitely not like Superman: The Quest for Peace back in the day with Christopher Reeve situation. Um, but there is that guy that they show for a minute in a mask, standing next to Lex Luthor. And
Homelander.
we don't know who he is. Did you say Homelander? Yeah, he's Homelander. Um, I mean, why not? Let's just totally just go for it. Um,
Be so weird.
no, there are rumors that the evil Superman will appear, in this movie, and obviously not the evil Superman from the Christopher Reeves when he was going to the bar and drinking, but that was hilarious. You know what? But I think I'm going to start this week going back and rewatching all those Superman movies, um, because I have not seen those Christopher Reeves movies in so long. It would be really fun to go back. But no, there's a new. I'm telling you, I'm pulling it up right now, guys. In the new Superman, yeah, Ultraman, the masked villain with a U on his chest, allegedly has
Ooh.
been seen in trailers. Ultraman is an evil counterpart of Superman from an alternate reality. Connection to Lex Luthor. Some speculate that the version of Ultraman could be a clone of Superman created by Lex Luthor to be his bodyguard, because you only see him by Lex, and he's got the mask. And when Superman is handcuffed, there's a guy with the mask behind Superman. Um, and
Oh
it's
wow.
got very very similar powers like Superman. Um, could be called the trailers show the engineer could be Ultraman. So that if they go that route, then Superman's going to need all the help he can get.
Yeah. I mean, Lex by himself is going to be a handful, but especially if you consider that that they have Metamorpho in there, that monster dragon thing that's in
What
there
is
at
that?
some
Where
point.
did that even come from? Like, why is there a freaking Godzilla's cousin in there, dude?
Yeah, I don't even know. I was like, oh, it's a monster of the week. That's kind of cool.
I know. I that might be the one part that I seem to not care about very much, unless there's a situation where like Lex is opening up some portal and maybe that thing came through. I don't know, but
He kind of does tend to do stuff like that, thinking he's doing something like for the greater good or just because, oh, this will be better than what Superman's doing because I'm Lex and everything I do is better type deal. So
James Gunn loves big monsters, though, dude.
that's true. I'm a sucker
He's
for
like,
them too.
yeah, he loves. So I'm gonna be real curious if that big monster is actually a big monster or is it part of some obscure comic book of Superman's that I've never heard of. I mean, that's a possibility with James Gunn.
That'd be cool. I haven't seen anyone reference it yet, but I mean, it's definitely a possibility.
And here's the other thing: what if it's not even in the movie? You know what I'm saying? Like, no, I really believe it is. But dude, you know how many times we've seen trailers and we're like, that's not even in the movie, bro. Like,
Yeah, on the car ride home, and it's like, wait a minute,
yeah,
what
what happened to
happened to
that big
that
old
scene?
goofy looking squid monster? I'm excited, man. Look, I'm excited because it's fresh. At least it's fresh. And at least it's a new take while still giving some love to the comics. You know, everybody wants these comic accurate, and then when we get it, they complain. And that's
It's too
DC.
comic accurate.
I know. That's DC fans overall. One thing about Marvel fans is they'll go to the movies. DC fans want to bitch online and then they don't go to the movie, and they're like, "This movie only made $5." Well, yeah, nobody showed up.
Yeah, it's like I wonder why.
The movie comes out Friday, and on Wednesday, someone's gonna be like, "Oh, this movie's trash. It's not even out yet." You know,
Uh,
but but I really want this movie. It doesn't have to be perfect because there isn't one. I want it to do well, and I want it to be fun and entertaining and good. Because if it's not, then you can pretty much rest assured that the DC is gonna be done. Done.
yeah, Disney's gonna buy DC after that.
They should. And honestly, the WB is pretty much done anyway. I mean, look at these idiotic moves they've already made. They're now switching Max back to HBO.
Dude,
They were
I've
like,
called Warner Brothers whack brothers for the longest time. I've lost so much respect. I mean,
dude, they're trash.
ugh, yeah,
Dude, they were like, we don't have to talk about the decisions they made, but if you look at their platform, they're like WB Max. Then they were like HBO. I'm like, cool, HBO. Then they're like HBO Max. Okay. And then they're like, we're just calling it Max. Just kidding. We're going to spend all that money that we did on rebranding and we're going to call it HBO again. And I'm like,
it's like, are y'all losing trademarks or something? Is that what's going on?
if this movie doesn't do good, they're in trouble. Because
Yeah,
ultimately, if it does good at the box office and the fans are split, they're still fine because it did good at the box
yeah,
office. People will be interested enough to see the rest. But if it doesn't do good at the box office, Supergirl, Lobo, all that crap, they're done, dude. They're donezo. Me, I, I don't think it's going to hit $1 billion. I don't think it's going to hit 1 billion. but this movie should do better than Fantastic Four. It should. Because ultimately, as much as I love Fantastic Four, Superman's bigger than Fantastic Four. He just is. I'm not putting down and I'm not talking just in general. The most people from other countries and worlds, people in freaking Jupiter know who Superman is, but there are some people that might not know who the Fantastic Four is. That's a possibility.
Yeah. Look how many
Superman,
movies we've gotten compared to the two.
they never made underwear with the Fantastic Four on them. Okay, I had Superman underwear. You have the stretchy part, right? Anyway, never mind. Mr. Fantastic. Oh.
The perfect popcorn holder. That thing's gonna sell out.
Bro, that thing is gonna stretch Armstrong. Anyway, but like Superman's everywhere, dude. Like this movie, I don't think it'll make $1 billion, but I think it's gonna do pretty well if people go. Like I think it's and that's what I want from it. I want it to be good because I'm pretty excited about Supergirl. Not just the way she looks, but I'm just the old Supergirl movie was so bad but fun. I'm excited about this one because the idea of it seems cool. We got to give James
Yeah,
Gunn time to cook, man. We gotta. I don't know. What's your thoughts? Tell me your thoughts on it.
man. I think it'll. Yeah, I think just the idea alone that it's Superman, that's gonna get butts and seats right from the get go. I mean, that's why DC has made 100 Superman movies. um, so that alone is gonna be enough. James Gunn is gonna. That's a reputable name, so that's gonna help out a lot too. I'm not really concerned about the movie making its money, and then some. I think it's gonna do good. Yeah, excuse me, gonna do good. I don't know where that D kept coming from. Um, $1 billion.
Yeah, they hit that.
It's gonna be a good movie, I'm sure, but I don't know if it's gonna be that good.
I mean,
But I wouldn't be surprised.
Minecraft's hit it so far, man. So it ain't beating
Yeah.
Minecraft, bro. It ain't beating Minecraft. But you know what though? I think it has a better shot of hitting $1 billion than Fantastic Four does.
Yeah. Yeah, I think based off of just what we said alone too, like Superman is such a bigger household name than Fantastic Four. Fantastic Four, I'm sure, will do great,
Oh yeah.
but Superman is gonna. It's just the name alone. Like that's yeah, it's gonna do good.
The crazy thing about it too, and like they are marketing it all over the place, dude. The Superman marketing team and the Superman marketing campaign is big. Fantastic Four, they are marketing the crap out of that too. Like they're like both of those movies are doing a great job at marketing. Maybe they spent all the budget on Fantastic Four, which is why they gave, the marketing team at Ironheart nothing. They were like, "Oh, by the way, here's the Ironheart show and it's out." Um,
Yeah, I was wondering about that. I'm like, dang, I didn't see any advertisement. It
it
just kind of
wasn't.
dropped.
Probably the same reason the Elio movie from Pixar got no money to market
Oh
that new Pixar
yeah.
movie. And I got to tell you right now, guys, I'm going to go off on a tangent. That new Pixar movie is good. It is
Oh,
good,
that's good. I'm glad to
man.
hear
It's
that.
good. Luke and I got to see it in Disney at Disney. Um, they had a whole free screening. You just had to sign up for it, and to get out of that heat, I was like, "Let's go." We saw it. We got free popcorn, dude. It was great. But it was a good movie. But they didn't market that at all, and it tanked at the box office. Tanked.
I don't get that. Like, market your stuff.
I don't, it's like they spent all their money marketing Lilo and Stitch, and that was good, and they did very well. Then all of a sudden, 2 weeks later, they came out with uh, Elio from Pixar, and they didn't do anything. And then like Fantastic Four, they're like, oh, there's our budget. We're doing it all. So I don't know. It's weird. And then Ironheart, like I was like, I knew it was coming, but I'm like, oh, it's coming. Cool. Oh, you're doing half the season in one night. It's a
Oh,
6 episode season. You got 3 episodes last Tuesday and 3 episodes this Tuesday. Game over. It's gone. No,
that's that's weird.
yeah. Just they're like, get it out of here. We don't care. And then you got Ryan Coogler, who's amazing, who's kind of tagged onto it a little bit, although it's clearly not 100% Coogler, saying, hey, the events at the end of this lead directly into Doomsday. And I'm like, do they? Because nobody's even watching it. I don't know. But I will say this.
I could just imagine. She just like I don't, whatever happens at the end of Ironheart, she's just chilling at home, and then a knock on the door, and just Doom's right there. He's like, "Hi."
uh,
Ironheart will return in
will
Avengers
return.
Doomsday.
Can we kill her? Can Doom come
Oh
down and kill her?
dang!
Anyway, um, but like, and here's the thing on Ironheart, I think the show's got some moments. I think she's fine. Like, and I don't mean it in that way. Like, I think she's like
Yeah,
good at what she does. Like, she's young, guys. Okay, I ain't trying to pedo it
yeah.
out. I ain't got Drake all over the place. Um, but
Hey Jake.
she's yeah. Drake's like, wait, how old is she again? No. Uh,
He's like, wait a minute.
oh, she drives. Oh, never mind. But like, I think she's doing a really good job, and I think I like the way the suit looks, and um, I think she's handling that role great. It's the rest of the show that I'm like, and the rest of the characters that I'm like, did y'all just use all your budget on her and the show and the characters
Oh,
and the development of these characters and their dialogue? I feel like I'm watching like a Nickelodeon or Disney Channel teen show. Like, I could care less about any of these characters. If they live or die, doesn't make a difference to me. And they're so irrelevant. And even the one that's like getting me thinking, like, ooh, what's connection to this big villain? I don't know because the show's over next week after 3 episodes. So like, I don't know, man. I don't. Anyway,
oh man.
I,
I
but
gotta
it's
watch
interesting.
it still.
Yeah, you should. But it's interesting to me to see just how well they're marketing Superman. I'm very excited about that. That means they believe in it. They got a lot riding on it. I'm excited to see it. I think it's insane to me that this movie comes out on the 12th or 11th. Um, and if it comes out on the 11th, well, something keeps happening on my phone. So if it comes out on the 11th, then 12 13 days later, Fantastic Four's coming out.
Oh, that's
That's
good. Gives it
insane
a
to me.
chance.
It's not long though. It's not long to cook. So we'll
Yeah,
see.
that's true.
But I'm excited, guys. I hope that everybody who's a fan of Superman and DC or just really interested, I hope you guys go to the movies because it is a great experience. I think this is going to be a fun movie. Whether you agree with everything or not, I mean, give it a chance. Don't just listen to Nick and I. Like when we come back after the film and talk about it, I'm going to give you my honest opinions. You know that. So will Nick. But don't just listen to us. Go see it for yourself
Mm-hmm.
because I think it's going to be super cool, man. I got a good feeling, and although I might not agree with everything or the choices they make, I think as they go into the right direction, that's going to be awesome. So,
Yeah, buddy. I think it was. I think it's definitely good too that he didn't like start off with Superman. Like he started off with some other stuff too, knowing that hey, I recognize Superman is important, but
sure.
here's some other stuff too. Like he knows. I think that alone shows that he isn't afraid to do what he wants
Yeah.
because we know that the bigwigs behind Whack Brothers have been a lot of major reasons why so many projects, stories, and all these things have changed, flopped with so many other companies in Hollywood. But yeah, Whack Brothers has not helped at all with DC.
No,
So,
no, they haven't. And really, they've screwed a lot of people over. So
yep.
I'm hoping that this is not the case. And honestly, we want the DC to succeed, and we want these movies to continue, and we want the theaters to succeed. So, this is a good summer opportunity. Post 4th of July, great opportunity to kind of go chill in the weekends at the movies before the kids go back to school in August, at least down here, and go from there. So, we will be back shortly after the movies. Nick's going to try to get his tickets around the same time I am, so look for that episode to probably drop that Wednesday after it releases. Fingers crossed. We're going to do our best. We're going to give out of the theater reactions, obviously, on social media, but we're going to really dive into the movie. We're going to give you spoilers, so if you haven't seen it, just fair warning. But we're gonna give you our honest opinions of it and go from there. But in the meantime, make sure to follow the Life of an Average Show podcast anywhere you listen to your favorite podcasts. You can go ahead and Life of an Average Show podcast.com. TikTok, because I guess that's still around and who knows what's happening. Social media, Zuckerberg's stupid Facebook and Instagram, and more importantly, the website, probably, and YouTube, and all that. Nick has been blowing up IG lately. Also TikTok too. He's putting some great content out there on TikTok, looking at his progress with his books, his drawings, the stickers, and then the game pieces that he's working on. And as he gets closer to finishing that game, we're gonna have him back on to dive in to that game and really look at it and talk about it, because I think that's exciting. So
Finally, yeah, it's fun. I'm really excited to every time I add something to it, I'm just like, yes, one step closer.
also, to sidebar, I'm halfway through the second book. I never told you that.
Ooh,
Yeah, I started cranking and then I stopped. I went on vacation, and I'll be honest, I haven't read much lately. But I picked it up on my lunch break today again. Started reading. When I'm done, I'll drop the review, of course. So um,
excellent. Thank you.
I'm dragging, dude. I'm dragging, man. But um,
I wrote a lot in there, so I don't blame you.
well, and then I also had like other books. I was like, I need to finish these books. And then like Luke and I
Yeah.
went to the library, and I got that awesome Godzilla book, and I was like, I want to read it. So anyway, all right, man. As always, love having Nick on. It's super cool. Love that we get these opportunities in our busy life to do this. It's so fun. Um, we haven't done a live in a while. We should do that again, but whatever. Maybe some other time.
Yes.
Yes, it's been a long time. It's hard enough to do this. So, um, but we will be back. I'll be back every Wednesday. Follow, click, do all the goodies. Nick, you can check him out because I tag him in everything I do. So if you don't know where he is, just come on. Also, if you go to lifeofanaverageshowpodcast.com and hit guests, he's listed on there, so you can find all his crap that way. And yeah, man. Until then, we'll talk after Superman.
Up and away. I don't know why I
Up
said it like
and
that.
away. Is that it? I don't know. Yeah.
Something like
Billion
that.
dollar, the $1 billion club. All right. We'll see you later, guys. Peace.
Peace.
If it shuts off. It won't even